What is up, gamers? I'm sure most of you know that Tarkov has released their best patch yet, and I wanted to go over some of my favorite aspects of patch 0.14 and what I think will be coming in the near future with some hot fixes. Now, I know that somebody will hop in the comments and explain to me that they haven't had fun on this game in years and that the cheaters are still ruining the game. And well, although the cheaters are still really bad, I've already died to a few myself. One of the biggest changes made this recent update will help alleviate a majority of them quicker than in the past. We now have the ability to view a player's stats after death, allowing players to see the KD and the account life, as well as all of their other stats and skills. This is the easiest way to see if someone is either a hardcore player or simply cheating their way through the wipe. I also read on Twitter that there was a huge ban wave in the last couple of days, which is a good sign for the upcoming weeks of this wipe. Easily, one of the greatest changes to come to the game is the reconstruction of the recoil system. I've only seen a few naysayers here and there that are primarily worried about the rat's accessibility to usable weapons, as almost all are viable now, and that the changes make the game too approachable for casual players. I can see the point with the rat camper situation, but being a more approachable game is not a bad thing in my opinion. New players means a lot of people with little to no map knowledge, and us veterans will always have the upper hand in that aspect. Being able to run raids with OEM weapons and no attachments has brought me so much joy in the early wipe. I can't wait to use the meta builds from the past because they will be absolute lasers. And don't even try to tell me that it's not realistic, because a private military contractor with loads of weapon training will be able to control these weapons the exact same way in real life. I'm not saying the game has taken even more of a turn to realism, but this whole rework has definitely made more sense with a lot of weapons in the game. Another huge change is the armor system. Now, all of the higher tier armor such as slicks and HPCs are not anywhere near as reliable because the only tier 6 or tier 5 area, respectively, is the 2 plates on the chest and back, making everyone need a Gen 4 full armor or a Zabralo to actually be super tanky, and that's balanced by the weight of both armors. A lot of tier 4 armor sets that cover more of your body are becoming the meta in the early and mid wipe, which is a huge breath of fresh air after so many years of the same kits becoming stale. With all great aspects, there will always be a downside too, and I've already mentioned a couple, but one of the biggest ones is the few tasks that require you to turn in an armor that's below 50% durability. Currently, you have to have all portions of the armor at 50% or lower, and not just the overall durability. This makes it a little bit more challenging for you and your friend to come into factory and have him shoot you with that low tier ammo. You have to get shot in the sides, in the shoulders, on the back, in the front, at the neck, all of it to have it completed. Armor plates can also be replaced in raid. If your armor plate gets very damaged, you can throw your armor in your backpack and swap out the plates for a fresh set if you brought them in. This makes the mechanic backpack super valuable late wipe if you're wanting to raid solely for PvP. Although it's not the easiest system to adapt to, I believe that it's an awesome addition and it will have a lot of changes coming soon. We also saw the welcome addition of some new weaponry. The most notable has to be the SIG Spear chambered in 6.8. This gun has a fire rate of 800 rounds per minute, super controllable recoil, and the ammo stats are outweighing all other calibers, making it an absolute terror to anyone on the business end of that barrel. My personal favorite is the 9A-91, a 9x39 caliber small AR. Even though it's not highly customizable, it is a blast to use. And the 9x39 ammo shreds at all aspects of the wipe. So having another option aside from the VSS and the ASVAL makes it a lot more accessible for all players. Of course, I can't go without mentioning the RPD and the RPDN. It's an iconic weapon that we've all loved since we first met it in Call of Duty. I personally haven't had the privilege of using it yet, but I genuinely can't wait to give it a whirl. Looks like a blast to use. One noticeable change that I find very appealing is the SKS model rework. The SKS is one of the best early wipe weapons, we all use it, and man does it look beautiful now. It's a subtle change that I never would have expected to be so satisfying. That's enough about weapons, so let's move on to this new map we got, which is Ground Zero. Ground Zero is here for the new players and can only be accessed between level 1 and level 20, but it can be scavved by anyone at any time. I think this is an excellent step in the right direction for welcoming new players to the game. The tasks on that map are great for breaking the ice early and preparing the newbies for what's to come if they stick around. It also gives them a taste of one of the most dense maps, Streets of Tarkov. Although it's nowhere near the size, nowhere near as dense, it's still a really great intro to what could be the biggest, most dense, and difficult map in the game. Also, if you're still watching at this point, please hit that sub button and help support my growth on this platform. I stream over on Twitch almost every evening, and I try to upload a video here once a week or so thank you in advance and much love if you did it. What I think is my overall favorite change with this patch is the Shoreline rework and expansion. Shoreline has been my favorite map in this game for years now, and it got an absolute glow up with this patch. The new area over by Road to Customs is a welcome addition with a lot of really good loose loot, and it's really close to the new car extraction, both of which are in close proximity to the resort, making loot runs a lot more quicker and way more profitable. The devs also changed the layout near the radio tower, adding a lot of structure in that open field between the cell phone tower on Road to Customs and the radio tower. This makes those spawns way less annoying, and it's not just a sniper battle as soon as you see the screen. Near the pier, they also changed the rock overlook that's across from the gas station, making the rotation a lot more difficult if you get spotted while you're sniping there. With all of that, there were also 30 plus new lootable containers and Jaeger stashes added to the map as well. Tie all of these changes in with a snowy winter event that we've got going on, and you'll see what I consider to be the most fun map in the game. Let me know what your favorite map is down in the comments. Although I personally don't play Streets a lot, I can say that I'm excited to hunt the new boss that's there with Kaban. Kalante, however you pronounce it, is a former officer of the MVD, the Ministry of Internal Affairs. During his service in law enforcement, he had a reputation as a woeful man. His behavior was sometimes feared by his coworkers. During his work, he often resorted to his favorite method of interrogation, a rubber baton, as well as other non-statutory pressure on someone who is not to his liking. Thanks to his physical strength and bold temperament, after the events of the terror group scandal, he formed a gang and began to do what he himself was recently supposed to combat, looting and banditry. However, even before the conflict, he often provided protection to local businessmen. For example, his good relations with Kaban are very well known, and like Kaban, he has a few guards with him, and taking him down won't be the easiest. According to the patch notes, he likes to hang out around the mall and the Tarkov Academy of General Affairs. Streets of Tarkov also welcomes the addition of a BTR, which is really cool. I think it has some nice features, it's essentially a taxi that gets you across the map and can extract valuable loot items for you as well. Once you set them to extract, about an hour later, you'll get them in your stash, guaranteed and found in raid. You can also pay about 75,000 rubles to have it kill anything in sight while it's driving you. So if you come into the raid with about 110,000 rubles, you can have really valuable loot extracted that you're guaranteed to get found in raid. You can take a ride across the map, and you can listen to that big gun sing as it blows away anything in sight. Now this may come as a surprise, but at long last, we finally have vaulting. I know, crazy, right? I haven't had too many issues with it aside from knowing when I need to be sprinting and when I need to stop sprinting to vault certain heights. I really appreciate that some forms of vaulting cause arm stamina loss instead of leg stamina loss. It makes perfect sense, and I love that attention to detail. Along with vaulting, the tactic of laying prone and crawling when overweight got nerfed in a good way. Now, when you're really heavy, crawling is way slower, but it still regains stamina. I think that's a great balance and leans a little bit more toward realism. So when you're really overweight and trying to get to extraction, you sprint, you plop down and you keep crawling, you're not crawling nearly as fast now. We also don't have to worry about left-hand peaks being as deadly with the new shoulder transition, something that I use every single raid. It's easy to adapt to, and if you bind it close to the main keys, it can be super helpful in any gunfight. I personally removed my melee weapon binding because I never use it and I rarely ever carry a melee weapon anyway, and I put it on V, that way I can just hit V with my thumb anytime I'm in a gunfight and I need to have that left-hand peek. All that I've listed, along with some changes to ammo accessibility, crafting changes, and a few minor hideout changes like the Hall of Fame and some new crafting requirements, pretty much covers the whole patch. I'm having more fun in the game now than I have since I started playing in 2018, and I really hope this has brought a lot of people back into Tarkov for some more pain and suffering. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed listening to me talk about my favorite game, leave me a like and hop down in the comments to chat with me. Subscribe for future content based around Tarkov and many other games. Much love, and have fun gaming.